Welcome back to Inclusive Design 24 2025, brought to you in partnership with our Platinum supporters, Accessibility Cloud, and Intopia. You can follow us on Mastodon and Blue Sky, and if you have any questions for the presenters, you can post them there using the ID24 hashtag. Alternatively, as you're already watching it on YouTube, you can pop your questions in the live chat. We'll gather all your questions for the Q&A at the end of the session. A reminder that ID24 is a respectful community, and you can find our code of conduct on the Inclusive Design 24 website. Now, I am tickled pink to be joined by my guest host, the Honourable Dr. David Swallow. David, over to you.
Thanks, Pat. It's a pleasure to be back. Next up, we have got Sergei Kriger, who describes himself as a front-end developer, web accessibility specialist, and occasional public speaker. And today he's going to be speaking on what comes next after reporting an accessibility problem, answering the question, found an accessibility issue, now what? So over to you, Sergei.
Thank you, David. Thanks, Patrick. So shall we start? Then I guess I'll share the screen. And is it visible enough on the screen now?
Yeah, lovely.
Good. So we might make it full screen, I guess, and start. Nice. Hello, everyone. My name is Sergei Kriger. I'm a software engineer at ProSieben, located in Unterföhring. Maybe someone who doesn't know that city is next to Munich. We are making online streaming platform called Join for a German market. And also, in addition to software engineering, in this company, I'm doing web accessibility work. And this is my main interest, and that's why I'm here today to share some of my accessibility experience. I started with my accessibility journey back in 2017, and since then I was able to bring a number of projects to AA accessibility level. So I have a little bit of experience in this area to say, and today I'm going to share some of it. My current role, in addition to front-end engineering in the company, I'm doing some accessibility job, as I said, and specifically I'm auditing multiple projects of the company. We have in the company multiple different projects in different domains, and since few months ago, it's mandatory in Europe and in Germany specifically to have them accessible. Not all of them to say, but at least some of them who have some kind of legal requirements, legal prerequisites for that. And since I have experience in this area, I'm doing some auditing time to time, and it's not only about audit a website or a project for me. It's also about to deliver result to the team who will be responsible for at least accepting those issues, or maybe even to fix these issues. So it's the whole process like that. I'm searching for issues, collecting all of them as a list or as a set of issues, and then I'm delivering or reporting issues to the team. But it's not necessarily that this process should be looking like that. It can be you on my place who find some issue in your, I don't know, favorite website, for example, and then you want to report it and fix it at the end. So it can be also related to you when you report some issues on the websites you visit often, for example. So it's always about reporting. Find an issue, then pack it somehow and deliver it to the corresponding team or corresponding person. It's all about reporting, and today this talk would be about reporting. So I will share some practical tips from my experience how to report better in order to achieve better results and actually to understand what results should be or could be achieved. So let's imagine that either for work or in our private life, we found some accessibility issues on some websites and we would like to report them. So what do? The first question that I would suggest you to think about is what do we want to achieve? Because believe me or not, there are people who can think of reporting accessibility issues and they mean by that different things. What do we want? Do we want self-satisfaction to prove the whole world that we are smart enough to find an issue and the current team who developed this feature or a website or an application didn't even know that this issue exists? It could be. Or finger pointing, we can say, hey, guys, you just, I don't know, did the bad thing. Why would you do that and stuff like that? So we could also blame people for not doing the good job in the area of accessibility, or we would like to at the end to get this issue fixed somehow. So in most of the cases when we report the issues, we are not fixing them ourselves. We want someone to fix it, or at least someone to understand it. So might be the good idea when we report the issue to focus on how could we deliver the information in a way that this issue would be fixed at some point. And my experience shows that it's all about how we report, because we can report in one way, another way, or different ways, and the way how we report will determine would the team understand what's happening, or would we be able to fix that at the end? And here I came up to the simple formula. Usually when we talk to people about standardized things like accessibility issues, we tend to target their brain. We are kind of trying to put on the table all the specifications and all the possible solutions and best practices on the market, and then people would come up with, I don't know, headache at the end of the conversation, and they don't even know what's happening about. Because again, believe me or not, not every people, not every product team, not every person in the company who you are addressing understand what accessibility even is. And it's easy, of course, for us to think probably, since we know our accessibility community know about these details, little thingy we deal on the daily basis, people may not even know that accessibility exists. And even in the large company that I work in, not every person before the deadline at least was aware that accessibility exists. And this kind of set situation. So whatever you try to deliver to people's brains may potentially fail, because people would be scared of amount of information you give them, because accessibility, it's a lot of information. So I would suggest you, when you try to address an issue to a person or to a team, to target their emotional part, like try to touch their emotions, because when person or people comprehend something emotionally, it's more likely that they will think about that afterwards, at least. So here is a small example. Let me go to the browser and show you a little website. And this website is a dummy example I created just to demonstrate you how reporting would work at the end. And of course, the site is completely mocked, so there is no real functionality here. If you click the card, for example, you can go to empty page, etc. But it's not the point today. The point is that this particular page, which is pretending to be a food delivery website, as one of many we have on the market, it does work when you use a mouse, for example, but it doesn't work with the keyboard and has some really serious issues with the screen reader. And let's imagine that we found those issues and we would like these issues to be fixed, to have some impact on users of this website. And here, as I said, there are some serious issues. So now let's think a little bit about how we would report these issues. 1 second. So the first way, which I consider not good way at all, would be actually to write them an email with the simple words, hey guys, your website is not working from accessibility perspective, it violates some standards, please fix them. And most of the teams, I would say, at least most of the teams in my company, they would read probably this information and kind of skip it, because no one would even understand what this abbreviation WCAG means. And I met those people personally. So this would be actually not a good way of reporting, even though you mentioned that something is wrong in this website. So no, this is a bad way. A little bit better way would be actually to describe the issues in text. And in this little example, I just demonstrate that I listed some issues in text, plus I attached some screenshot and explain exactly where it fails, why it fails, etc. And with this feedback to the development team, there are more chances than people at least would understand what is wrong there, because keyboard testing seems really easy for people who involved in accessibility, but other people who are out of this topic completely, they don't even know that keyboard users exist, and they will never test stuff with the keyboard. So at least with this short message, people would understand, okay, seems like I need to test functionality with the keyboard. But still, this example is not that good, because we can make it better. And the better way is actually to show what exactly is wrong here. And for that, I came up with a simple solution. I do it very often on every report that I submit to the teams. I do record some videos, and I prepared for you today a few examples of videos which I would like to demonstrate now. So first example, which could be a good enough, is this one. Now I will start the video, and in almost 3 minutes you would see how I would report these issues on my fake website to the development team.
Hello, food delivery team. I would like to report some accessibility issues. As a user of your website, I have figured out that this website is only functional, well functional for users who use the mouse. For those users who use a keyboard only, it's not that functional. So here is a simple example. With a mouse, I can click a card and I go to the next page, but when I try to click the same card with a keyboard, I fail on that. So here's how I do that. I start tabbing through all interactive elements on the web page. And few first links are focusable and focus is visible, but when I continue tabbing through the web page, when focus goes to the cards, focus is not visible and not all interactive elements are focusable. These buttons, add to basket buttons, they are focusable, but the whole card, the link around the whole card is not focusable because it's not a real link without href attribute. When the link does not have href attribute, it doesn't function as a link anymore. Also, for screen reader users, it's not easy to navigate through your websites. Normally, screen reader users navigate through the headings, but these headings on the pizza cards are not real headings. That makes it impossible for screen reader users to navigate and find the pizza on the web page. Also, these add to basket buttons in all the cards, they have the same label, so if screen reader users focus on them and read the labels, listen the labels, it's not easy for them to identify which button belongs to each card.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Food delivery, web content. Entering food delivery web content. Visited, link, basket, main. Visited, link, link before. Add to basket, button, list 4 items. Add to basket, button, add to basket, button, add to basket, button. Visited, link, link after, headings menu. 1. Food delivery. 2. Pizza. Visited, link, link after. Voiceover off.
Also, these issues are not only about users. These issues violate some accessibility standards, which makes it quite dangerous from the legal perspective. Thank you very much.
So here was the first video I recorded, and in this video I demonstrated why this website is actually failing some standard and what are the problems. So from this video, in comparison to text in the previous messages, with this video we can at least show specifically what are the things are failing and a little bit about why they are failing. But can we make it even better than this video? I would say yes, and I will demonstrate you another video. And in another video, I would not only explain and show what are failing, I would propose some solutions. And this is what I usually do in my reports, because it doesn't matter if people understood you. Because if they don't know how to fix, they will go Google that and probably fail on some things, and then they will lose their interest. So my point is here that we can make videos a little bit educational. And here is the second example of the video where I actually try to fix some problems.
Hello, food delivery team. I'd like to report some accessibility issues. As an active user of your website, I have figured out that functionality on the website only fully functional if you use a mouse. For keyboard users and for screen reader users, the functionality is not fully available. That makes it impossible for users to use your website and to buy your products. I took a liberty and fixed some of the critical issues in the browser, and I'd like to demonstrate you how that works. So in my code editor, I have prepared a piece of code which I will inject into developer tools in the browser and demonstrate you the improvements that I made on your website with that code. I introduced a skip link. The problem that this link solves is for screen reader users and for keyboard users. When they don't want to click through all interactive elements in the cards and they want to go further, there is a way for them to click that link. Focus will get to the first active element after the pizza list, and then they can go further. Another problem which I fixed was focus style. Now all the interactive components are styled well. They change their visual appearance once get focused. So this is a second problem. And then there are some also screen improvements for screen reader users. Now I will start my screen reader.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Food delivery. Google Chrome.
And try to navigate the website with the headlines.
Headings menu. Application.
So you can see that there is a list of headlines here.
2. Pizza. 3. Pizza Margherita. 3. Pizza Murano. 3. Pizza Delicious. 3. Monaco Pizza. 2. 1. Food delivery. Closing. Headings menu. Food delivery. Selected. Tab. Heading visited. Link.
And now I'll try to navigate with the screen reader and a keyboard through the pizza list.
Visited. Link. Skip pizza list. Pizza. Region. Visited. Link. Heading level 3. Pizza Margherita. Price. €7.50. Rating. 4.4. 78. Delivery time. 30 to 50 minutes. Delivery price. €2 delivery. List 4 items. Add to basket. Pizza Margherita. Button. Visited. Link. Heading level 3. Pizza Murano. Price. €9. Rating. 4.3. 26. Delivery time. 20 to 40 minutes. Delivery price. €2 delivery. You add to basket. Pizza Murano. VoiceOver off.
I will attach my findings with the code example and the links to violated accessibility standards to my report. Thank you very much.
So here we go. This is the second Video, in my opinion, this is the best way to report the issues. So we list all of the issues in this video, in this short report, and plus we make it a little bit educational. We fix them and we showed people who would potentially learn from that and know already how this issue can be fixed. And here I made some kind of additional effort and put some recordings of my hands here just for people to understand how I start screen reader, how I use keyboard to navigate, etc. It's of course not really necessary to do these kind of things, but if you put a little bit of more effort and do this, people would appreciate it at the end, because if they don't know how to learn, we just need to make this way of learning for them shorter as possible. So what makes a good report? So when you find an issues and until the moment that people actually get your message, how would you pack this information? What would be necessary to be included in the good report? So first rule that I created for myself: report should be visual. It doesn't matter how much you talk and how much you write, people would probably read it and forget it, listen to you and not even understand sometimes. But if you make it visual, it's much better. So screenshots, videos, and all visual information is welcomed here, because people tend to comprehend visual information much easier. Make it emotional. I recorded the last video with a screen reader, but what I do time to time in the personal meetings or in the recordings as well, I make my screen black and pretend to be a blind person, for example, and then the whole experience of a website people spend hours and hours becomes really new for them, because they always experienced their features as visual people, but when it comes with a black screen, they start hearing the website rather than seeing it. So make it emotional, pretend to be actually a person using a certain technologies, like a blind person, deaf person, etc. Be constructive. It's really easy to blame people, especially when you have more experience than other people. But does it really help at the end? I don't believe so. So make it constructive, deliver whatever message people need to know to proceed with this issue. But if they at the end angry at you, it doesn't really make any sense. And make it educational a little bit, because people may not know things that you know. People may not even be aware of the accessibility in general. So explain, be patient, explain people what are the problem, why this problem exists, and how to possibly fix them. And that's pretty much it, what I wanted to say you. So think about how you report your issues, make them deliverable to say, and there is a chances that people would actually hear you and proceed with what you said. Thank you very much. That's pretty much it from my side.
Well, thank you very much, Sergei. I mean, probably, both myself and David are involved very often with, testing for accessibility, evaluating things. There's obviously different scenarios that often come up. I mean, for our part, usually we are being hired by a company directly to say, right, do an assessment of our website, of our app and everything else. And in those contexts, when we deliver a report or when we file issues, we probably got the advantage of, we don't have to kind of emotionally grab the developers, from your target the brain versus target the heart. We basically have to, in most cases, just go straight to the point and say, well, these are the things that are wrong, and get the developers to fix them. Because in a lot of cases, when we look at particularly very large websites where they have a lot of issues, in the end, it's like some poor developer gets the ticket assigned in their JIRA at the end of our assessment, and the last thing they want is reading for the 10th time an empathetic explanation of, think about people that don't use the mouse, and here's somebody with a keyboard navigating things. So probably from that perspective, we have a slightly different experience being hired directly to do these assessments and kind of just provide actionable kind of results. But certainly the scenario will be different if I'm just a member of the public and I discover something on a site or app and I want to report it. And I remember there were lots of discussions around that area that I've been involved in the past, where there was a feeling, particularly from people that are directly affected, people with disabilities, saying, I'm not a developer, and B, why should I, even if I know how to actually fix things, why should I provide kind of free labor and explanations to a company that probably has the resources or should have the resources, even if they haven't assigned them, to research these things and develop them. So just wanted to maybe tease out a little bit more your thoughts on how practical this kind of approach would be in general, or if you only use this kind of approach when you're just contacting a third party, or if you're also using this internally within your own day-to-day practice when you're talking to your own developers internally at ProSieben or similar.
I understand what you mean, Patrick. So there are kind of corporative culture, to say, of reporting, and then personal one. But I would say, disagree with you on the point that it's not our business. We kind of were hired to deliver like a strict things, but at the end, I've been in those situations when you deliver stuff and you've done your job very well. You found all the issues and reported them, not only issues, but best practices, etc. So you did your job well. But then this report, let's imagine at the beginning of my career in accessibility, I was writing these VPAT reports and these long Word or Excel sheets, Word documents or Excel sheets. They were like full of properly found and properly described issues. And then I just gave that to corresponding team. And then in a few years, just accidentally, I opened that file and was thinking, can I just have a history who actually read that file and make some adjustment, or at least, I don't know, converted them to tickets? And results of this activity was shocking. Few people read it and no tickets were created. I did my job really well, but at the end it's nothing. So my point is like here a little bit different. Of course, it's all about business, and company are paying now to companies like you, Patrick, your company, to actually make those audits. But at the end, I was also getting results from a third-party company delivering us like some kind of results. But when I look at the results, as a person who have experience in accessibility, I do understand them. But my colleagues here in my team, they might not. And now the result, they would start fixing what you are reporting, but sometimes things are broader. The problem is bigger. They need to understand why this problem actually appears, because issue you reported, they will get fixed somehow. But the next one will appear quite soon because they just don't understand the point. So it's my opinion on that. I would say reporting not necessarily should be like, should provide everything that I mentioned today, but at least we need to think as reporters how to get people understand what we mean, at least. Of course, fixing is like their issue now, but I don't believe that people would spend as much as you, Patrick, or you, David, spent on accessibility, or I spent. Probably among us three, I'm like less experienced here. It's just less than 10 years of experience in accessibility, but I'm reading about this topic on, if not every day basis, but on every week basis. And people don't do that. I don't expect people on other side of this communication to actually start doing stuff I do. So I do understand that there is like my perspective on that, and there are things that people would understand or may not understand even. So this kind of try to give them visual information, recorded video. With these videos, I have a chance that they at least understand the problem. Fixing, okay, I don't control that, but at least make them understand. And you will be laughing now, but this year, when we were like in the preparation to the deadline, which was in June, right? I talked to many people in my company internally, and I figured out personally, I was a little bit like shocked that people didn't know that mouse is optional. And when I say screen reader, they just didn't know what it is. And I don't know, I cannot imagine how is that possible. But it is exist now. So I would say we need to be a little bit pragmatic, yes, as you said, but kind of maybe it's a part of a pragmatism as well. What do we want at the end? Get money for our report? I mean, we will get money for our reports, right? I mean, I won't probably because it's not my direct job, but if I would think about the web in general, an amount of errors I see every day, even in the huge companies like huge websites like on Amazon regularly. Horizontal scrolling due to links, not how to say.
Wrapping, yeah.
Exactly, not wrapping.
Breaking,
It's like every week I see it somewhere, even in the huge sites, and people just don't understand that these issues might cause some issues. So I would say I'm a little bit idealist here. So I'm ready to do this job a little bit like better and probably for free a little bit, but at the end more people would understand that.
Yeah, I mean certainly with the just talking about reporting for from our point of view, we've certainly, and I think David, your experience will be similar. We've moved away from the classic. Yes, you've hired us to do an assessment. Here is your 300-page Word document that then, somebody then dutifully prints out, staples together, and then just shoves in a drawer somewhere and never to be seen again. And you come back a year later and say, we're here for a retest. And you go, have you actually done anything? It's like, no. So yeah, we've certainly moved away from that really old school approach of assessments to trying as much as possible to be proactive. In most of our assessments, we end up filing issues directly and fairly atomic issues directly into the customer's Jira or Bugzilla, whatever they use. Or if access is usually a problem. If that's not possible, we at least provide them with, say, something that can be imported directly into their bug tracker. Just trying to move away from the big, our job is done, and they just get a giant wad of paper. So yeah, I'm sure the kind of the truth lies will be somewhere in between. And when we write issues, we now also try to be, yes, very short and matter of fact, but you're absolutely right with things like make sure that you add enough information that could be visual information like screenshots or screen recordings, just to make people aware of what the problem is. Because just saying in words like you can't navigate this with a keyboard won't mean anything to the developer if they're not familiar with it. But if you show add a little video to it showing like, right, normally if I tab, I can see that it's not getting to that particular bit, or I use the cursor keys and nothing happens. That makes it more immediate for the developer to just understand, okay, well, that's what the problem is. Like, this is what you have now. This is why it's a problem. Here's ideally the end result. It might not be, here's the ready-made code that I worked on myself that you can just drop into your site, because to be honest, that's your job. But, you know, at the end, you want to get to this ideal scenario of now I can actually use the keyboard to do certain things. Sorry, David, I'm just completely talking for the next half an hour. Did we have any questions? Yeah, that's it.
We haven't had a lot of questions on the socials. It's a bit quiet so far this morning. Steph had a comment that she's happy not to be the only one with pizza examples in all her talks. Ida says, interesting with videos. How do you work with captions for these videos?
I don't work with captions of those videos because I just really trying to be, as Patrick said, pragmatic here. If I know that I'm working with people who would see my videos, I don't bother myself to add a caption because it would be like a little bit overload. So reason for the videos, specific reason for videos is for people to see them, not to hear them. Because if I know that there's a blind developer, for example, which also may happen, I would write a text or something, I don't know. Because my point is actually to show people, and little example actually, how it works in practice. I've seen it, like experienced it in my team. Some years ago, I ran a workshop about how to use a voiceover on macOS. We are all sitting on macOS in our team, and I just ran a workshop and showed people how actually to test and what to test, etc. And I was just giving myself as a, I don't know, done check mark. I did a good job. I explained people, like showed people how to do that. And recently, when we were been busy with preparation to deadline, I asked, so here's a issue we need to fix. Can you do that? Person said, yeah, of course I can. And then came back to me, can you help me to test it? And then I asked, like, didn't even think about it without thinking, I mean, just start your screen reader and test it. I said, oh, how? I got an answer. We had a workshop, I said. Oh no, since then I have never done that. And my goal with these videos, particular goal, like really specific, for people who would come to developing and testing before the release, so they would have a picture in their head that this testing should be done. And if they are really curious, they would go start the video and at least see me how to do that. And they will shortly Google how to start screen reader, etc. So my goal is not to deliver accessible video in this particular case, because I'm applying here to developers who would see that, because the main point of this conversation is actually visual information, more digestible than textual or verbal. So no, I don't write captions, so in a way that these videos are not accessible, but there is not a goal. My goal is this video would be useless when this issue I reported in this video is fixed.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
a Netflix to watch.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, sorry, David, go on.
No, go for it.
No, okay. Yeah, no, I was going to say that when I add, you know, purely from my own practice, when I add videos to issues that we file, I generally I keep them very short and without voice, and I usually then have you know, just in the actual text of an issue, I have an explanation of, well, this is what you see in this video. You know, here I'm you know, example of trying to navigate with the keyboard or something. And then, yeah, if you got things like screen reader, like you did with voiceover, you had the little, you know, the voiceover output is visible. Similarly with NVDA, I like to just get the speech reviewer up and everything else. But I usually, when I add videos myself, I try to basically just complement what the actual wording of the ticket is as well. So that's a way around it, because yeah, otherwise you end up in an Ouroboros of how to make the, you know, this accessibility reporting accessible in its own right. I mean, you have to try, but yeah, it will come down to, you know, what you're actually trying to convey with those things.
Yeah,
I think personally, I think it's great that, you know, to think about how your message is received and the emotional impact that it has. I think that's something that is often overlooked. And like you say, there's often a tendency to fall into that kind of finger wagging accessibility cops. I did a bit of research myself in the past about how to encourage web developers to take accessibility seriously, you know, and how to bring it into their workflows. And something that was clear that they appreciated was just an explanation of why something was a problem. You know, they much preferred that to, you know, what they referred to as, you know, as diktats. You know, you've got to do X, Y, and Z without any real rationale behind it. So just having that explanation, that was really helpful. So I think what you've got here kind of takes that to the next level. What I was going to ask, how have developers reacted to this approach? You know, have you had any feedback from them?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, my experience is like a little bit one-sided here. I don't do outside report. I do reports for our company, so they are living in our drive. So these documents and videos are internal. So some people came to me and said, "Oh yeah, you know, I watched the video, but I didn't get that, and that. Could you explain?" And this actually already next step that I would actually expect from people to they would ask me to elaborate. So this is kind of a good sign for me. Another feedback that I got, hey, I watched, like I saw your report. Could you explain me what the issue is? And then they simply didn't see the link to the video. And I sent them to the video. And then again, it was already like a step forward. So in general, these videos, they are having better impact than just the textual information. But I have like few rules for myself. I don't spend much time on those videos. I don't spend much time on the setup. And honestly, these two videos I demonstrated today, it's just for demonstrational purpose. I don't do this kind of long videos. When I see the issue, for example, I don't know, in the navigation, hamburger menu, this hamburger button is not a button, but just a clickable div. I just explain why it doesn't work. It takes, I don't know, 10 to 15 seconds, sometimes with, sometimes without words, and that's it. So I really record short videos and do it like just, I don't know, some visual information. So I don't like create a movie out of my audit here. So I got positive feedback from my colleagues, yes, but there are still like a lot of things to do, because my goal is here, like idealistic goal, that people would actually consider accessibility as a must-have in their releases. Like we now don't release without automated testing, right? I would like people to not deliver without accessibility check. In the ideal world, they would actually write automated tests themselves to prevent the fail in the future. But this goal is, I don't know, kind of hard to achieve. So I started with a small. I just want this picture to be in the head of development teams, all the people, I mean, like project managers, testers, developers, designers, etc. And in this domain, I made some success in my experience, at least.
Excellent. And have you seen an impact in the number of problems addressed? Have you got those kind of metrics?
No, I don't bother myself in metrics, actually. I just my current situation, I spent like 20% of my time on accessibility only. I mean, on the company level, the rest is just my team. So when it comes to my team, its situation is better. People already are aware and asking questions. When it comes to other teams, I keep all the doors open, and sometimes people are coming, sometimes not. So it's kind of tricky.
I'm pleased to say you've started quite a bit of chatter on the YouTube chat. I'm not sure how many questions there are here, but I'll try and relay some of the comments. Ian Ovenden says, if you're hired directly to perform an audit, the report should be direct and concise. Education on accessibility should be outside of the audit. Okay. But Ian Lloyd, the opposite kind of point of view, I found this a really good way to explain issues, the videos and images, and will often show a before and after. Works best when you have ongoing relationship with a client where you can afford the time to do this. And Ian uses Whisper for captioning, and it's really very good at getting the details right. Maya says, but what if the developers are neurodivergent or hard of hearing and you don't know about it? Those videos are still quite long. We'll find a question in here. Ian says, videos are great for demonstration, but when tickets are raised in Jira, there should be one per every issue identified. Stefan says, how do you propose to formalize accessibility testing and doing so that it is no longer a nice to have or should be done, but a must have, shall be done regularly?
Yeah. Now, I'll probably riff on that one, because I was going to ask as well about how empowered are you in your day-to-day job with this? I mean, because you say it's 20% of your time, otherwise you're working in your team. Have you got buy-in from the organization itself that it's not just you randomly sending emails to your other teams going, hey, fix this, but have you actually been given some kind of authority to do this? But yeah, the other question is how to actually embed that more directly in those other teams, that it almost makes it not necessary that you, as like an outsider from the outside of their team, comes in to tell them what to do.
Currently, I don't have any power to tell people what to do. So this is kind of my current situation. What I do have is like, I'm just sharing. I have more experience than other people in my company, at least, or at least in the teams that I'm working on. So this my first goal was actually to make people aware that if they have questions, they may come to me, but I don't have any power actually to tell people what to do. And my goal of current activities of what I'm doing now is actually to at least to draw the line after a deadline in June. It was not mandatory, but now it is. And the first goal, of course, to draw the line and say, hey guys, here are the problems. How to address those problems is a different thing. And you just mentioned a few seconds before that this one issue per finding or something like that, this doesn't simply work, because sometimes one fix would solve several issues, and one issue can be split in multiple, one finding may be split in multiple issues. So this kind of special activity. So what I'm doing in my current role, which is a part-time accessibility, in terms of accessibility, I just made people aware that they may ask questions, and I just try to give them as much as possible information to actually proceed on their own. So no, I'm not a gatekeeper for the teams, and I cannot say you must do that, no.
No, excellent.
Well, there is a chat going on YouTube. As I say, not so many questions in there, but you've certainly sparked a lot of discussion off there. So that's maybe worth following up on. No further questions on the other socials. I think that's bringing us to the end of our time.
Well, thanks for having me today.
No, thank you. Right, as I frantically try to find my outro script. So yeah, for the audience at home, and for all the people still arguing or discussing in YouTube, while you're there, why not hit the like button, and don't forget you can subscribe to our channel to be kept in the loop on our future events. Inclusive Design 24 is brought to you with thanks to our Platinum supporters, Accessibility Cloud and Intopia, our Silver supporter, Intuit, and our Bronze supporters, the Law Office of Laney Feingold, Mantis & Co., and Vispero. Inclusive Design 24 will be back on the hour with our next session, so don't go anywhere.